Okay, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Chupacabra's lair. I'm your host, Larry the Chupacabra, and we are back for some more Osiris New Dawn here today. And the first video was a little bit rough and tumble. The game was not completely out when I first tried it, and then posted a video after I was allowed to. But, now we've had a little bit of an update and it's fixed some things, so I decided to make a new spawn and remake our little forge over here. And I've also started to play around with building some of these rather expensive habitat structures, like a habitat and an airlock. And I gotta say, not the most intuitive thing on the planet, but one of the pluses is, now it seems like they have the proper capabilities to spawn us in a random location. I think the maps are still prefabricated. I don't think they're procedural at all, but they also made it so that you have a better selection of resources a little bit closer to hand at your spawn location. So like right here, I didn't have to run across the Saharan desert to get plutonium. And that's actually kind of nice. And it seems like they made some of the monster spawning a little bit more, but made the sort of controls for those settings a little less crazy and janky overall to see what controls what and why. And by that I mean, it's easier for you to tell like how to control lower monster spawn rates and how to better control, like, their health and how much damage they deal. Because I gotta say, when it gets to be nighttime in Osiris, like, the monsters will straight up, like, two-shot you, and it's ridiculous. So I had to turn all that down while we get used to things, because, well, the nighttime can come on really fast, and that's not fun. But first, before we go exploring, I'm going to clean up around my base, and then we'll go on a bit of a tour. If I can even shoot this butthole. Come on, larval skelopod. I'm gonna touch your butt. There we go. That'll be some fresh alien meat for the old cook fire. But, no. So, like, I've reset up my base. There's not a lot to say. I just ran around and gathered up a bunch of materials. And I've also found a few new things and also refound something that I wanted to introduce you guys to today. So the first thing is, I've started building a habitat, and these suckers are very expensive. So this habitat, just the basic skeleton, and that does not include these walls, I should mention, it just has the front door, and then all the rest of it is empty. So it requires 15 steel plates, 10 glass, 30 aluminum, and 10 copper. And then it spawns just the door, and then an empty skeleton like these little holes are here. And then after that, you've got to get out your multi-tool, and then you walk up to it, and then you can select different types of walls that you can put in here. You can have like a windowed wall, or a coupler wall, which allows you to attach different things onto your habitat. Or you could have some other stuff that I thought I saw in an information, like infographic the developer sent, but there's just a lot of different stuff that you can put together there. So, the other thing I wanted to show you guys is I got some new kinds of trees here. Now previously, or maybe previously, I think I walked up to a tree like this, and these trees right here, they don't do anything. These standard kind of purple frond trees. But this tree, the one that kind of looks like it has tumors growing out of it, if you go down underneath of it, or maybe not, sometimes they don't spawn, but if you go up and hit this berry tree, like the name would imply, you get some berries from it, and that's a really nice, cheap source of food when you're just getting started, for when you run out of the baked potatoes that the game decides to give you. So that was really handy. So I've started getting the whole base together. We've got this little pod over here, and really the first thing that you do in the game is they get you to build a shovel. And in order to get sand in the game, all you do is you get a shovel, and handy enough, everywhere is a sand biome. You don't have to go to the scary desert over there or anything where I talked about there might be a gigantic worm. And then you just dig up a few of them. It takes 2 per glass. And then this shovel does have a bit of durability. And then you just go up to your forge, make some glass panels, and then you get the different materials out of the output inventory for the forge. And I think later down the road, they will probably have it so that there's like a timer. So it's got like a progress bar when it makes each particular material component. But for right now, all the crafting appears to be relatively instant. And then we can make things like guns right off the bat with this. But one of the first things that we need to do is we need to make some steel if we want to start making some cooler things like barrels that'll allow us to start gathering up gases to replenish our hover fuel and maybe our water. So let's go do that as it starts to turn stormy out. This is one of the rainstorms that can happen here on this planet. What was this planet called again? It's like Proteus 2 or something. But basically, what we need to do to make steel is we need some iron, and we're also going to need some magnesium. And in order to get magnesium, we're going to have to go over here, over this hill, and in some of the down-and-out crater areas of the game, you will run into large spawns of magnesium, and then also over this hill, kind of hard to see over there in the distance, it looks kind of black right now, just the way that the lighting engine works, is over there are some plumes of noxious gas that we can use as fuel, and then over that direction are plumes of, like, I think the blue stuff is actually oxygen gas. Don't ask me why you'd find oxygen in a gaseous form like this, but you can. So actually, I'm gonna skirt around this for the moment, because there's something dangerous in this crater, and I really want you guys to be able to see it before we go down in there. So over here is another berry tree. This one you can probably actually see that the berries fall off of the tree, and you can actually pick them up off of the ground. So, did any spawn down here? No, they did not. But a Murdertron did spawn. One of these skelepods. Good news is, while they are plentiful, they are not that strong. Even on the, like, moderate settings that I've got, they're pretty okay to deal with. I will say, aliens in this game get really murdery really fast all of a sudden. Let's see here. So over here is those gas geysers. This is where I want to build a barrel, and we can come over here, and then we can get some titanium if we need any more. Which actually, I might pick up some more of this while we're here, because I don't have a lot of titanium back at the base. I actually turned up the material yield on this particular single-player server, simply because materials are a pain in the ass to farm early on in the game, and I see no reason why you'd have to make 50 trips. It's unnecessary until you get more momentum or movement. So there we go, here's hydrogen geysers, and it's this green acrid gas. And I'm gonna want to come back over here and get some. There's also some carbon over here, which I'm not really sure what it's for. But, you know, never hurts to have it when you got it. There's also some gold near the base for once, which is nice. Alright, and I think we have enough vision right now to risk getting eaten relatively suddenly and murderously. I wish this storm would clear, but it's kind of random, it seems, how long they last. So let's get over to a safe section of this crater where I can go up and down without being molested by anything. There are Bill Cosby aliens in this game, and they are very tentacly. So I'm gonna walk very gingerly down this hill. We're gonna wait for the earth to rumble. I want to be very careful. Oh shit, there it is. Oh shit. Oh crap. Oh yeah, it just straight up ate me. So yeah, there's a giant worm. You guys just met Charlie. Do you like him? I He terrifies me, but, yes, I would like to continue game. So that's Charlie. That's why I wanted this, the haze to clear, because you gotta run out of the way of Charlie. He just ate me. So there you have it. And now we gotta go get our body back. I hope the dead body is... Oh shit, get out of here, you little bastard. I don't want to deal with you right now. I don't have a gun. Actually, I do back at the base, but I'm not doing that right now. So yeah, periodically in certain biomes, mostly these craters, I have run into these Gigundo duneworms, and they are incredibly rapey. And also there's a bunch of smoke and haze over there. Is that my dead body? Where's my dead body? I want it back. Do I even get it back? I don't know that I'm gonna get my gun back, which is unfortunate, but not a super big deal. Is that my dead body? Nope, this is just materials. Well, this is kind of what we're here for, so let's get some of this magnesium. Man, am I just not gonna get my corpse back? Normally when you walk up to your old corpse, sort of Minecraft style, it'll show it to you, but I guess if you get eaten by the worm, you don't get to have that. Which, is that... I mean, I think that's fair. Because it's actually kind of easy to avoid if you can actually see it. But that's a good example of what is an environmental hazard inside of this game. So we're just gonna go back to base, hope Charlie doesn't spawn again. It doesn't happen instantly, but if you're trying to provide commentary at the same time during a storm, it can be hard to see Charlie coming. So I'll just mark that down as unfortunate. Now, one thing that I have quickly learned in this game is it's easier to run if you put away your weapons, and it's also a lot easier to get around if you abuse the shit out of your jetpack boots. Now, it doesn't seem like the fuel in them gets used up very much at all, if it does, period. Whoops, I overshot my base a little bit. But yeah, it doesn't seem like it's much of a big deal to use your rocket boots. And it also seems that, like, a lot of your stats reset right now whenever you go in and out of the game. So, no worries there. You can just run out of food and water and log in and log out of your single player. Probably doesn't work that well on a server, but I have yet to play in a multiplayer scenario yet. I'm gonna need to make a new gun. I basically have nothing on me right now, and I'm not gonna get any of it back. But what I want to do is I wanted to make, what did I want to make? I wanted to make some steel. So I've got magnesium, I'm gonna need aluminum, I'm gonna need some iron, and I did a little bit of pre-farming. So let's get out a bunch of this stuff, because I'm gonna start building that base right after. So let's just get out a couple stacks of each of these and weigh myself down. So, let's see, open the forge, I'm gonna make some steel. How much did this need? 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I've got the copper for that. So now I have a giant metallic barrel that hopefully I can use to gather gas that I can then use once I've built a structure properly. I can put into this chemistry table, and that will allow me to create, like, fancy things like plastics, hopefully. So, next up, we gotta get out our multi-tool here, our omni-tool, so to speak, and go over here into the base, and we need to start putting in some walls and stuff. Come on, get through the wall, or the door. So, if I want a windowed wall, I'm gonna need to produce some glass, and I'm actually going to need to recreate my shovel. Because right now I don't have a shovel. And unfortunately, you can't run while you're encumbered, which makes this whole process a bit of a pain in the ass. Let's make more steel, put that in the inventory, make a shovel. Now that we've got the shovel, we can equip you where the duct tape was. And now I need, like, what was that? 3, 4, 5 glass? Let's just make a bunch of it. Really no reason not to. And basically, the only thing that encumbered does in this game, that's a little bit different, is that all it does means you can't, like, sprint with it, which is annoying, but it's manageable. And you require 2 sand in order to craft 1 glass. So I'm gonna need a bunch of it. Just spam click the ground, getting sand. And I gotta imagine that later in the game, like, you probably wouldn't just be able to get sand anywhere. Like, they should make it so that you can only dig down so much before you get to bedrock in an area, and then it messes with your ability to get more sand. Let's make 1 more. That's a good even number. So that's what, 5? I think that's what we needed. And there's Benji. Unfortunately, I can't get Benji's name to stay, because half the time, when you name the robot, like, he'll just disappear. And I don't know why. So here we'll just put a regular wall. I don't know what the blue bar for this means, but there's a blue bar. For some reason. And then I also want to make a mirrored wall. So I'll use the scroll wheel. Or not a mirrored wall, a windowed wall. Okay, and then... Let's see. Eventually I'm going to want to put a coupler here. Unfortunately, coupler requires material that I don't currently have. Requires rubber to make a seal. So I'm going to have to wait before I can make that. But I'll put a couple windows in the meantime. And eventually I want to put a coupler in because it'll allow me to expand the base and create like a hydroponics garden. And it'll also allow me to produce, you know, like a barracks where I can live and have all of my personal accessories. And, you know, we're all about accessorizing here at the Chupacabra's Lair. It's really a fashionista channel, if you really get right down to it. If you really think about it critically. So that's what I need for the basic base. Now, what did I need in order to build an airlock? I needed glass and steel, which I have plenty of. I've already kind of prefabricated some of the stuff here. Now, did I need to put a roof on this? That's a good question, actually. Because, again, not the most, okay, so it does have glass already. It's not the most intuitive thing. Like, I wouldn't see a picture of a prefabricated, like, dome and expect that I'd have to then purchase 50 tons of glass myself and, like, make it more or whatever, so, you know. So let's see, let me put away the old multi-tool. And then, actually, I already made all this shit. Let me just get it out of the inventory over here. I only have 5 steel, so I'll need to make more of that. I do have plenty of glass, I think. Yes, lots and lots of glass. How much did it want? It wanted 2, so I have way more than enough. And it wants 10 steel, so let's just make a bunch of steel. All the magnesium I have on my person will become steel. And hopefully this works. So, some of the building in this game is really, really, really wonky. It just really, really is. Because it doesn't always like the terrain. Okay, it does like this now. Which is nice. Because before, when you tried to build the airlock first, then build the habitat, it would, like, freak out on me. Okay, ooh, I have my own house now. Oh, and there's like a little animation as I walk inside. Oh, sweet. Okay, now I can build my own chemistry table. I just need a little bit more glass. Alright, let's dig up some more sand. I mean, this is the one thing about the game so far, is there's just some pieces of it that are a smidge tedious, but once you get going, and once you start getting some materials, now that they've seemed to have moved them a little bit closer together, it plays okay. Like, you start to ramp up a lot quicker than when I had to run across half of the Saharan desert. So let's see, I gotta make a bunch of glass. Then I can go run back to my little home away from home. And you fly faster if you put away your tools. And you actually have to pressurize to go in here, which is, I suppose, kind of neat. It can also be a little bit weird and tedious, but I'll take it. So we'll put you over here, build ourselves a nice chemistry table, and now we're pretty much established, guys. I'm feeling pretty good about our little adventure, so we have a chemistry table. And this will allow us to create plastic out of carbon and hydrogen. So, wow, we need a lot of hydrogen. I'm going to make a couple more barrels and get a bunch of that. It'll allow us to make glass containers out of hydrogen and oxygen. How do we gather, like, water, I wonder? Or does this just craft a container and then we can put stuff in it? Or does it come with water in it? I guess we'll figure that out soon. You can also get a hydrogen container, a hydraulic, or there's an acid thing. WPCX, fluorescein gas, huh? You can get fluorine in here somewhere too. So there's a third gas or a fourth gas in here, and a wild fungus, probably from that fungus tree. Okay, so now we're starting to like get into the more advanced stuff where we can start making some crazy furniture, like a fabricator, which is an indoor crafting table that uses advanced technology to print new complex items from basic components. And then we can also make some structures like a barrack soon, once we get some plastic and some rubber. So hot dog, guys, we are officially established. It is now properly official. Let's run back up into our little inflatable dome, where the ramp doesn't want to behave itself. We'll save. And yeah, I'm feeling good about this. Okay, ramp. What is your deal, man? Do I have to hop on you every time, like you're a hop-on pop? But yeah, so this is how fabrication works, how building stuff works. Building a habitat. And also, you met Charlie the Worm, so I feel like it was a very productive day on Proteus 2. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this series so far. This has been more Osiris New Dawn. We'll be doing some more right after this, like maybe not tomorrow or the day after. I'll try to alternate games more as I get back into the swing of things. But yeah, this is pretty good, and I think next time we might see some nighttime. I haven't quite decided yet. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and tell me what you think about Osiris so far. Appreciate you guys dropping by, and I'll catch you next time. Toodles, everybody.